So, say it like Ellie Knight, let me talk to you. In the 1980s and 90s, we knew who the three worst referees were in the NHL because he screwed all over almost every team in the league. Kerry Fraser, Terry Gregson, and Don Kowarski. But in 2023 in baseball, a lot of fans only focus on one umpire. And it came into light again this week with an incident involving Bryce Harper, where basically he was not out on a check call. He was called out by this guy, and he was so frustrated he threw his helmet into the stands. Of course, it's got to be the very controversial and the very polarizing Angel Hernandez. Like Angel Hernandez, a Cuban-American umpire in MLB, has worked in the NL from 91 to 99, has worked throughout MLB since 2000. In July 2017, he filed a unsuccessful federal lawsuit against MLB, alleging that racial discrimination kept him from being promoted to crew chief and from umpiring World Series games. He has not umpired in a World Series since the 2002 and 2005 championships. Let's put this in perspective. The last 18 years hasn't been in the World Series. Coincidence, I wonder. Now, Hernandez has been involved in numerous controversial incidents, maybe over 100 over the years, has been criticized by players, coaches, and fans throughout his long stint. Born in Havana, he grew up in Hialeah, Florida, and began umpiring Corey League baseball games as a teenager. His father directed the local league. Now, at age 62, he's one of the longest tenured umpires in baseball history into his fourth decade. When he began umpiring in the Florida State League in 81, he earned $900 per month, equivalent to $2,900 in 2022. Moved to the Carolina League in 84. It was promoted to the Southern League in 86 and earned a raise of more than to $1,800 per month, and then reached the top rung of minor league baseball in the American Association in 88, where he's paid $2,200 per month, equivalent to over $5,000 in 2022. In May 91, he earned his first call up to major leagues as a substitute for a full-time umpire. 57 of his friends and family came to the ballpark to watch his debut. Now, he umpired in the 2002 and 05 World Series and the All-Star Game in 99, 09, and 17. He has officiated in 7 League Championship Series, 2000, 01, 03, 04, 07, 10, 16, and in 12 League Division Series, 7, 8, 2, 05, 09, 11, 12, 15, 17, 18, 20, and 21. Hernandez worked Game 7 of the 2008 ALCS as an injury fill-in for Darrell Cousins. For the second half of the 2011 season, Hernandez was moved from the umpiring crew of Joe West to the crew of Jerry Davis. Now, Hernandez wore number 5 while in the NL, but the number was taken by Dale Scott when the umpires were consolidated under MLB in 2000. So Hernandez took number 55. After Scott retired in 2017, Hernandez regained his number 5 for the 2018 campaign. Now, in 99, in one of the big surveys of umpires, he was ranked 31st out of 36 umpires in the Major League Baseball PA survey. He was retained for the 2000 season ahead of 13 of his National League colleagues, which the Philadelphia Inquirer termed one of the surprises of the 99 cutback of the merge. In 2006 and 11, he was listed as the third worst baseball umpire in Sports Illustrated player polls. A 2010 ESPN survey showed that 22% of Major League ball players asked identified Hernandez as the worst umpire in the major leagues. In 2016, his lawsuit against MLB stated that MLB rated Hernandez's accuracy behind the plate at 96.88% in 2016, up from 92.19% in 02, and said he did not miss any calls on the base paths. I watched him in action. Yes, he did. During the 16, 17, 18 season, Hernandez calls at first base were overturned in 14 out of 18 video reviews for a 78% overturn rate, exceeding the 60% overturn rate for all first base calls by all umpires during that same time period. So why is Hernandez so polarizing? Well, for a lot of people, and it's been said many times that he thinks he never makes mistakes. On April 8, 2019, BU published a study on 11 seasons of Major League Baseball data, almost 4 million pitchers analyzed to determine the accuracy of balls and strikes called. The study found that Hernandez performed stronger in 18 than his average for 08 to 18. He averaged 19 incorrect calls a game, or 2.2% per inning. Even with his high error rate compared to his peers, he performed better than others, escaping the 2018 bottom 10 MLB list. During spring training 2019, Hernandez claimed he gets 4 wrong calls per game. The BU study shows that his error rate is almost 5 times higher, or 20 times a game. If you did that in the NHL, they tell you to fuck off. In 2020, after a dozen umpires elected to sit out the season as a result of COVID, Hernandez was made an interim crew chief. Now, the Sporting News journalist Tom Gauder wrote in 2020 that Hernandez has earned a reputation for being one of MLB's worst umpires. Andrew Mahoney, writing for the Boston Globe, reported that Hernandez has a reputation as one of baseball's worst umpires. Zach Brazilier of the New York Post wrote he was the worst umpire in baseball. Now, to the happiness of many people, Hernandez worked a single game on April 13th before suffering a back injury. He remained sidelined until July 31st. Now, according to my media colleagues in the States, since he's been back the last 2 months, he's not been welcomed back, and thus the Bryce Harper incident. Now, he was behind the plate for the final game of the original Yankee Stadium game on September 21st, 2008. He was umpiring at third base when Jared Weaver threw a no-hitter on May 2nd, 2012. It was also the third base umpire on September 28, 2012, when Homer Bailey of the Reds no-hit the Pittsburgh Pirates. On May 18, 2021, Hernandez was the home plate umpire for Spencer Turnbull's no-hitter against the Mariners, the only time he's been the home plate umpire for a no-hitter. Now, we're going to go over some of these incidents, and this is without prejudice, because I don't think he screwed over the Blue Jays in the last number of years. We've screwed over ourselves. Now, in 98, Hernandez was behind the plate for a game between the Mets and the Braves the day before the All-Star break. In the 11th inning, Braves runner Michael Tucker tagged up on a fly ball to left. Hernandez ruled Tucker safe, but replay showed the throw to catcher Mike Piazza bet Tucker, and that Tucker never touched home plate. After the game, Piazza said the call was the worst he had seen in his baseball career. Other Mets opined that Hernandez may have been in a hurry to get the game over with so they could all start their break. Now, on August 7, 2001, Hernandez was a home plate umpire for the game between the Cubs and the Rockies at Wrigley. In the bottom of the sixth, Hernandez controversially called Cubs infielder Ron Coomer out of the plate. Former Chicago Bears defensive tackle Steve McMichael, a wrestler who was also part of the Four Horsemen, who was visiting the Cubs TV booth and who was the guest singer for Take Me Out the Ball Game during the 7-inning stretch, told those attendants over the PA system that he would have some speaks with Hernandez after the game, presumably because of Hernandez's call against Coomer. A visibly angry Hernandez was shown on camera glaring McMichael from the field. No objectivity there. McMichael was subsequently ejected from the ballpark. It was initially thought that Hernandez had ordered the ejection. It later emerged that crew chief Randy Marsh had ordered the ejection, threatening to stop the game unless McMichael was removed from the ballpark. Standing up for your own. Later, the umpires received an apology from then Cubs GM Andy McMichael for McMichael's conduct. Now, on July 17, 2006, when Hernandez served as a third base umpire for a game between the Dodgers and Diamondbacks, he ejected Dodgers first base coach Mariano Duncan, not known for being a quiet personality. When Duncan came out of the dugout to argue the ejection, he tossed his cap to the ground in anger. After Duncan was removed from the field, Hernandez picked up the cap and tossed it to a fan in the stands. The next day, Duncan taped his cap to his head before delivering the Dodgers lineup to the umpires. Duncan, for this, was suspended for 2 games and fined by Major League Baseball as a result of the incident, but nothing for Hernandez. On May 8, 2013, he served as a crew chief for a game between the Athletics and Indians. In the 9th, he and 2 other umpires ruled a long hit by Athletics Adam Rosales was a double following a video review, although the ball hit the railing above the top of the wall. Oakland manager Bob Melvin argued the call and Hernandez ejected him. The Athletics eventually lost the game 4-3. MLB later acknowledged that the hit should have been called a homer, but said it was too late to overturn it. Several umpires argued that the replay system did not provide clear enough pictures, and the system was later changed. On August 2017, Detroit Tigers second baseman. Say it again. In August 2017, Detroit Tigers second baseman Ian Kinsler was fined $10,000 by MLB for saying that Hernandez was a bad umpire who needs to find another job. And this, of course, has been mimicked in the NHL and the NFL, that when you criticize an umpire, you're going to get fined. Now, October 2018, Hernandez was the first base umpire in Game 3 of the 2018 American League Division Series between the Yankees and the Red Sox. 4 out of the 5 plays that he called at first base, which were submitted for video review, were overturned. TBS analyst and Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez said after the game, Angel was horrible. Don't get me wrong, going an Angel now. Major League Baseball needs to do something about him. It doesn't matter how many times he sues Major League Baseball. He's as bad as there is. Pitcher CC Sabathia, I don't understand what he's doing these games. He's always bad. He's a bad umpire. Hernandez declined to comment after the game, a blowout win for the Red Sox, but MLB issued a statement to a spokesperson. There were several very close calls at first base tonight, and we're glad that instant replay allowed the umpiring crew to achieve the proper result on all of them. Read between the lines. Now, when MLB removed Hernandez as acting crew chief after accusing him of eavesdropping on an MLB investigative call in July 2019, it was because it focused on Hernandez's 20-minute game delay due to umpire confusion over league rules. Hernandez did not hang up his phone when his interview ended and instead continued listening to the subsequent questioning of another umpire that he knew was intended to be separate. Joe Torre, the MLB's chief baseball officer, wrote him saying, simply put, we find your sordid justifications for remaining on the line to be implausible, internally inconsistent, premise on facts that are incorrect and not credible. We have concluded that you remain in the line in an effort to intentionally and deceptively eavesdrop on a confidential conversation in order to hear what umpire Hickox would say. This is an egregious offense. Hernandez was also chastised for asking pitcher Homer Bailey for 11 autographed baseballs after Bailey's no-hitter, for making 3 incorrect calls that were later overturned on the basis of replay in the first 4 innings of Game 3 of the 2018 ALDS, and for angrily throwing his headset during a different game when his call was overturned by replay. We continue. In July 2017, Hernandez also filed a federal lawsuit against MLB, alleging that racial discrimination led to his being overlooked for World Series games and crew chief promotions. He also cited a long-standing feud with Chief Baseball Officer Torre, dating back to Torre's managerial career. Hernandez asserted that before Torre's arrival in 2011, Hernandez's evaluations were consistently positive, but since then, evaluations have turned neutral or negative. Nearly a week after he filed the suit, he was named to the 2017 All-Star Game. He was also selected as first base umpire for the 17 and 18 ALDS. In September 2018, the case was moved from U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Ohio to the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York in New York City, where Major League Baseball is headquartered. In March 2021, United States District Judge J. Paul Oetken granted a summary judgment in MLB's favor, writing, the court concludes that no reasonable juror could find that MLB's stated explanation is a pretext for discriminatory motive, and the evidence shows beyond genuine dispute that an umpire's leadership and situation management carried the day in MLB promotion decisions. Basically, wasn't good enough, too inconsistent, and too hated. Now, Hernandez is the father of 2 beautiful daughters with his wife, Maria. Now, in 2015, Hernandez returned to Cuba for the first time since he left to spread the ashes of his father. A few months later, he returned to umpire the first game in the country involving an MLB team. This is 1999. Hernandez does, of course, charity work for disabled children, including hosting a celebrity golf tournament every year. He lives in Loxahatchee, Florida. Now, I have nothing against Angel Hernandez, okay? Baseball is different in hockey because in hockey now, you've got away from that polarizing referee or linesman. But many people, I watch highlights there, and it doesn't matter if it's Arizona, Colorado, Philadelphia, sometimes Toronto, whatever. He's considered the worst. Now, this has been consistent. He said he's a bad umpire. If the announcers say it and everybody else, are they doing this just because it's him? I don't know. But I see enough bad calls in Major League Baseball. He's a scapegoat for a lot of bad people like Joe West as well. So maybe Earl Weaver is right. Most umpires should be shot. So if you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. And don't forget, get that strike right.